In this video, I'm going to be working on a page in my art journal that has collage and acrylic paint, and I didn't finish it quite well. I just wanted to paint for a little bit, and now I think it's pretty ugly, and that's okay. Sometimes all you want to do is just paint for the fun of painting, but the end result at the moment that you finish is not what you see next time that you revisit the page. And this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to finish the face in a different way. I think I'm going to just make sure that it's coherent. And these colors are from collaging some jelly prints. So I'm going to also work a little bit on this and have fun. And if you're new here, I hope you subscribe. This is your artsy friend, Martha from I Love to Paint. The number one thing that bothers me right now is that I was going to make a face that was a little bit in an angle, and it ended up being an angle within the face because I didn't follow my own instructions of making sure that you divide a little bit and you check where the eyes are going to be. So I ended up with this eye a heck of a lot higher than what it's supposed to be. And that's what I'm going to be doing, because my line right here is this way. So the eyes should be going also in a 90 degree, and it's not happening. Wherever your chin and your nose are, the eyes should be in a 90 degree angle if it is like this or if it is like that. But in this case, I wanted to go in a more traditional way, to put it one way. So the easiest way, either with paper or with a pencil, you go and make your line of where it should be going. And I think it should be going right here. So I'm going to make my marks. That's the bottom. And now I'm going to make the top, which should be, since I can see that it's going to be more like on this direction, I can tell with this line that my eyeball should start here and the iris. So we're following this direction. The easiest way is to go with paint right away instead of with more pencil marks. So I'm going to grab a small brush and do the line that will completely move down the eyelid. Obviously, although I was going after a form of Frida Kahlo, this right here doesn't work for me anymore. I need some white. So I'm going to try to make sure that I don't paint over the flowers, but at the end of the day, I can correct that as well. Also the hair, in a way that things look more even. Also the ear, I can see that I went way off with the ear. So if I'm basing my ear on this one, obviously I will need some black color for the ear over here, and then it will end somewhere around here. I will have more of an angle with this ear. Even if it is a little bit off, it'll be less off than before. And I will be happy with that. She's gonna look a little funky regardless of how much I fix today, but at least it's going to be a little bit more even. Now we're going to be marking the white of the eyeball, although I think I'm going a little too ahead of myself because it is easier if I go and do the color of the eyeball first. So I will pick a brown color, try to do the eyeballs the same size, and also fix the two areas of the cheeks over here. Now I will wait for this to dry and keep adding more layers. This white in the corner is definitely helping to bring things down. I see that the nose is also crooked. And I want it whimsical, so I don't want to go too much into balancing to perfection everything else, but she's looking more even, which is a good thing. With watered down black paint, I'm going to just go and start with the eyebrows. If I don't like how it looks on one side, I can come back with more of the skin tone or whatever other color I need. And I love adding the highlights to the eye, brings them alive very nicely. She is still like not even, but I'm liking her a lot better. I believe I used the glue stick to attach my collage flowers in here, which is something I rarely do. This is why. And what I'm going to be doing is adding medium, which I totally love. Prices have been going up, but it is such a great product. And compared to other brands, Liquitex is fantastic, very good quality, still professional, and more affordable. So I'm going to include a link in my description, so in case that somebody wants to go and check it out, it will be there. See, when the glue stick dries, depending on your weather, it can make a mess. Or glue to another page, or disassemble itself like in this case. So the medium doesn't do that. I have to go a little careful around here because I had the water-soluble pencil in here, so things can get a little tricky. I'm going to also apply it in the corners over here on the clay pot, so it gets very well attached. Every little corner that I see that is being flaking, moving, I'm going to use my medium so they are very well attached. And then later in a minute, once everything is dried and very well attached to the page, I will add some highlights and shadows so things stick around much better and have more of a depth. If you have pages that you change your mind, you don't like how they look like anymore, I invite you to rework on those pages and you will be happier with your sketchbook or your art journal. As I'm waiting for the rest of the face to dry, I will add more yellow to this clay pot. I guess at the time, I'm trying to remember, but I think it was some type of exchange with paper that we were supposed to use as it was. And not every printer has sharp colors. And in my opinion, even the best of the printers has kind of a dull ink. So of course everything looks muted because my printer was messed up. Well, not messed up, but you know, they only have certain capabilities, at least mine. And obviously the capabilities were not up to making the color sharp. But anyway, with acrylic on top of the paper, it's looking a little better. It's not by any means going to be either realistic or logical, but I'm happy with it simply because I like the face better. And I'm just working on the hand just for funsies. I guess I'm going to have to redefine with pencil. But still, it's better than what I had before, and I'm happy with it. Now that this is dry, or sort of dry-ish, I will bring probably this raw sienna, or better yet, dark brown, water-soluble crayons, oil pastels. Probably this is a little too close to the rest of the other muted colors, but what do? We go with the flow. This type of crayon is activated by water, and then once it dries like acrylic, which is super fun because it does not reactivate again. To me, that is very important. Let me see if I have some other color that I can play with over here, just to make it more colorful. Okay, probably for her outfit, I will try to make some shadowing with purple, pretty much just to give something else color-wise to what I have already going and make the pot look a little more vibrant and separate from the rest. That's for the bottom of the outfit. For the top, I think I'm going to go with some red, mostly because this has already some reddish. It's too dramatic. Well, once it is very wet, it's looking pretty. I don't dislike red, but I'm always very careful with it because it can look kind of like aggressive unless it is with very well defined shapes like strawberries. Okay, I'm happy with this. It went very gently more towards just warm instead of red. This is a beautiful color. It's just called red. But I think I'm going to go over here with some pink. Okay, before I run out of this space again, I am going to just say thanks for visiting. Subscribe if you're new here. And check more playlists over here with more videos about paintings, acrylic paint, and all kinds of artsy stuff. Remember to keep your paintbrush wet.